Hello and welcome to another episode of A Friendly Film Take, a podcast by Film News Blitz, where we have friendly film discussions and friendly film debates with a friendly film face. And this is the first returning face to join me, Dan Lawrence, on A Friendly Film Take. And it's Rhys Stacey, who was here for our sort of opening two-parter episode. Rhys, how are you? Welcome back to the pod.
Thank you very much. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Yeah.
Good.
Right. Well, what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about Warner Brothers because there's a lot going on with Warner Brothers. Some, I guess, sharks in the water who want to purchase Warner Brothers Discovery or parts of it. So we've got Skydance, Paramount in one corner, and we've got Netflix in one corner, all sort of eyeing this quite highly coveted prize in Warner Brothers. So we're going to be talking about that and sort of how we feel about the prospects of it. But first, Rhys, since you were last here, what have you been to see? What films have you consumed? What new things have you watched?
I have, to be fair, been to the cinema a fair amount, which is lovely. It's a 10-minute walk away. And over, I suppose, August, it was a case of what's big, what are people excited for, rightly or wrongly. And first off, round of applause, Superman. There was a hesitancy from me. It's something new, it's something bold, it's something different. And I think I was a bit reticent to go and see it. So I did see it with a very empty theatre. Loved every single second of it.
Oh, yeah,
Hilarious.
You were at the end of the run, weren't you, when you came to see it?
Which I don't know, I think maybe was a good thing because it meant that you could hone in on quite what you were watching rather than kind of be swayed by the general vibes of a packed out audience. I realised that was a mistake because that with a full audience would have been absolutely fantastic. The colours, the story, the kind of heart of everything, wonderful. It felt new and familiar all at once. So that studio is off to an absolutely roaring start. Cannot wait to see what comes next.
Smashing, and that's a Warner Brothers film as well. So that's
It is a Warner Brothers film. One of the
what we've been discussing. Right, is that what else have you seen? What else have you seen?
Absolute flip side of that. I was dragged through 2 hours and 10 minutes of the final Conjuring film, which for me, I think they're fun as a series. It's really fun. It's really like interesting. It's jump scares and there's it's spooky and scary and all that sort of stuff. Great, you know what you're getting into. This felt like such a damp squib of a closure to a 9-film franchise, which has made millions upon millions. I'm sure it's actually $1 billion franchise. The closure of it feels like an absolute afterthought. It's a jumble for me. It was a jumble of ideas. I don't think I've been that bored during a film, and there's a lot happening, but I do not think I've been that bored during a film in a very long time.
And that's a horror movie as well, which is designed to exhilarate, get you on the edge of your seat, feeling tense.
Horrifying visuals.
So boredom's not really
it's probably the last thing that they're going for. And then interestingly, I went and saw a film that sat absolutely in the middle of that as well, which was Alison Brie, James Franco in Together, which
Dave
was Dave Franco, was from an acting point of view, from a story point of view, an absolute delight. It was a debut feature as well. So it was really kind of like off the cuff ideas. That was a joy to watch as well. But that was with a pretty full theatre, and people were disgusted and found it hilarious in equal measure. So if you have a spare evening and you want something a little bit gross, definitely recommend.
Yes, it looks gross from the. I mean, I haven't. Obviously, my fear of horror movies continues from when we last spoke, so I haven't seen any of those ones that you've discussed.
Fine.
But also, Conjuring: Last Rites, I believe it's called. It's also a Warner Bros. Movie.
And presumably part of the successful run that they've been on in 2025.
Exactly. Yes, it is part of this massive, mega successful run that they've been having. Yes, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, I think we should start this little timeline of events with
Mm.
quite a recent development, which is the Skydance, run by David Ellison, Paramount merger, which has created another Uber conglomerate in the studio space, which I guess the first big major one was Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox. I think that's two legacy studios combining to create a massive sort of studio, sort of, I guess, take a slice out of the pie. There's now fewer slices because of that.
Sure,
But,
yeah.
I think it's gone. I think in terms of for the audience, there hasn't been a negative impact because I feel like Disney have been quite good at keeping things distinct, and they can use the 20th Century Studios banner now to sign off
Separation.
more creative
Mhm.
endeavors, and it basically gives them a bigger catalog of IP for Disney Plus, which I think
Yeah.
is the name of the game, really.
100%. And I think and as you said a second ago, with the user experience, I log on to that Disney Plus app and the variety, but everything is branded. It's done by franchise. You can feel the distinction. I think the first shocking thing for me was getting a subscription to Disney Plus, and then on that homepage, yes, you had Coco and Elio and Inside Out, and like all of the kind of family friendly fare. But you went down one, and you had the Xenomorph Queen screaming at you. A little, and there was no. I think they had there was their selection of horror, like independent horror as well. They don't hide it. It's there. It's very distinct. Really
They've been
does have
quite good. I think the way they've advertised that's been quite good. Like Disney Plus, like it's not just for kids, and sort of time that into you can have parental settings on your accounts and stuff.
exactly
But
that.
it's cool that you mentioned Alien because I've caught up and there's only one more episode left, I think, of Alien Earth, and
Beautiful.
it's so good, really good. Noah Hawley's knocked out of the park again with another great sort of adaptation of a film property into a television property, which seems to be his card, doesn't it?
He's quite good at
But yes. So Disney did it first, and now Skydance have done it by sort of consuming Paramount, which does give them sort of certain impressive IPs. I think you've got Transformers under Paramount banner, Mission Impossible, although it's a franchise that's just sort of been wound down. You've got all the stuff that Taylor Sheridan does. But since they've acquired Paramount, David Ellison's gone on a bit of a rampage. So there's like an $8 billion deal for exclusive rights of the UFC.
Yes.
Which is great news for the UFC fans out there, I guess.
For a user, that's it's.
Well, I'm not big into UFC, so, but from a film and television standpoint, in terms of the fictional space and what we chat about, exclusive deal with the Duffer Brothers, creators of Stranger Things, which is that's huge. I think in terms of, I think if you're Netflix, you maybe feel a bit scorned because these guys have created your biggest show, and then they've gone like, right, we've done that. See you later, we're off. A good move for Paramount, I guess, to have something that creative, because you get, obviously there's the Paramount Plus streaming service, so I guess Duffer Brothers will be hard at work creating a new original series for them. And then also there's going to be a Call of Duty movie. The Skydance Paramount have done a
madness
with the Activision video games, which I feel like is long overdue. That franchise, I feel, maybe it's just because I'm old, but I feel like Call of Duty's cultural impact isn't as big nowadays as it was 10, 20 years ago.
I think I agree.
The likes of things like Fortnite and stuff like that. We need to ask a Gen Z, Gen Alpha person who would probably be able to tell us.
My younger brother, so for me, annually, there was that tempo of that was the big kind of zeitgeisty media that you had to have, and having a younger brother and watching him go through those kind of like content release calendars, there is that disinterest. So is it the case of, are we experiencing one of our first versions of nostalgia where they take a property that is really, really core to us growing up and turning it into something else? Or could part of that be actually trying to reinvigorate that younger audience, that younger buying audience?
Yeah, I mean, they still have the it's Warzone, isn't it, on Call of Duty? They have their like
Mm,
Fortnite adjacent thing. So I think I mean, it must still. I mean, it's one of the most valuable gaming properties. It must still do
sure.
well with the kids of the world and the youth of the world. And I think we've seen the trend in the box office that video game adaptations are doing. They're ruling the roost. You know, you had Mario, you've had Minecraft this year. Um, so
The Last of Us, I think, was the
on
bastion of
HBO,
proving that video game adaptations didn't have to be shit.
yeah, because
So
for a long time they were complete shite, weren't they?
awful,
Um,
awful.
there's like yeah, there's a lot of examples, isn't there? Really. Um, I also think from Paramount's point of view, I mean, what a great IP! Because how many games? There's been like over 20 games or something ridiculous.
You're not, yeah, in terms of a library of what to draw from.
Hmm.
Really interesting. I don't think we should hinge on it for too long, but Microsoft and Xbox did a merger with Activision to have, so that now falls under the kind of owned by Microsoft thing. So that's a video game merger that is then being licensed out to another merger over here as well. So you're sort of seeing these mega companies join forces for whatever reasons that they're joining forces,
Yes.
money, and, and then licensing themselves out into different spaces. And I think as long as the creativity is there, and you like you're saying with a Call of Duty, you have, or with a Mario, my God, that property's been existing for 40 plus years. You have a new Resident Evil film coming out with hopefully a bit of a brain to it. So you know that from a user point of view, my media, the things that I love, do not have to stay static. And I think that's for people like us, that's fantastic. That's great news.
And Netflix are pushing ahead with a series adaptation of Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I did not know
And
that.
you've got Tomb Raider coming from Phoebe Waller-Bridge and her deal with Amazon,
Is
and
that Amazon Studios? Yeah.
that's Sophie Turner will be Lara
Oh,
Croft.
fantastic.
So that starts production in 2026 in January.
Amazing.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, we've been talking about obviously Skydance's top dog. David Ellison's not been sleeping since he merged
over.
with Paramount, and now he wants Warner Brothers Discovery, like the whole kit and caboodle. And apparently, there's like a lot of talk. I mean, this share prices have been rising in Warner Bros. Discovery since this news broke. David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, had previously at the beginning of the month spoken about splitting the Warner Brothers and Discovery elements into two separate sort of entities early next year. So I think Paramount, Skydance Paramount, everything's got two names, want to go in and grab the whole pie before that happens.
And absolutely capitalize on, yeah.
And that would become, I think, not only would that rival the likes of what Disney have now, but it could potentially surpass it. Because, not only do you have things like Warner Brothers, but you've got HBO, you've got all their cable television networks, you've got all the Discovery stuff, Discovery Plus, you've got TNT Sports, you've got this is a huge enterprise that Paramount would end up with. But then there's the whole thing of like anti-competition. Will it be? Will a deal such as this? I mean, it's going to have a lot of scrutiny, like the Skydance Paramount merger had, like the Disney 20th Century Fox one had. But they're not the only people involved. They're not the only people who want Warner Brothers, because Netflix apparently also want to get in on the action.
Yes.
Apparently, only to grab the Warner Brothers, the studio and streaming element.
It's the
like
production
Warner Brothers and HBO Max, which is very interesting given Netflix's position as a streaming first entity. That is very frustrating because it doesn't do proper cinema releases, even though it has really good cinematic properties like Knives Out, limited release. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, it's only going to have a limited theatrical release before going out on Netflix. So it's a case of if they get a hold of something like Warner Brothers with all of its IP, which is incredibly dense,
Indeed.
is it all going to just be siphoned off into this vacuum that I think Netflix is, which is this sort of machine that just churns out content, but kind of, I don't know, doesn't give it. I just wonder whether. But I've read articles where it's fears of like this is going to kill the cinema experience. It's taking all
Sure.
of these brothers properties away. But maybe the devil's advocate is Netflix doesn't want to enter the cinematic space, but if it owns an entity that's already there, it can be in that space,
And
but
just
save face.
well, I've
Yes,
got.
discuss. How do you feel about Paramount and Warner Brothers? How do you feel about Netflix and Warner Brothers?
I think if it's a rock and hard place.
It is.
If my opinion could sway anything, the preference would be Warner Brothers and Paramount, because I think the two are closer linked. From It's the cinematic experience, it's also the faith and the quality most of the time that they put into the creative and the creative ideas. So the things that they are generating, even if it is franchise led, swing back to The Conjuring for a moment. The first few, there was that kind of innovative filmmaking. They took an indie filmmaker in James Wan and then gave him an open check to go and create something that's going to be great. So that first Conjuring film, great. We love it. That's fantastic. So the faith that they put in their filmmakers and their creators, wonderful. The the Netflix side of things, for me, doesn't kill the theatre experience. I think one of two things, or possibly both, will happen, which is if it goes in the Netflix direction, televisions will get bigger and they will get cheaper, because there is no way. Let's take a DCU film, for example, Superman 2 streaming on Netflix. That's how it's released. Would never happen. But let's say that you cannot watch a film like that on a 32-inch TV and get that full experience. So I imagine, from a tech partner point of view, your Sony televisions, all that sort of stuff, the tech in the house gets bigger and it gets better, and it's a better price point for the consumer, which is a good thing. That's not. I'm fully in support of that. The cinematic experience, and this, you and I had this discussion a good few years ago. It's not a gun to the skull. It is a gun to the skull of indie filmmakers,
Yes.
because if you cannot fill those seats because you don't have the marketing budget, you don't have the word of mouth, because you are a small film, you go onto streaming. That is just the very normal path. You make your film independently. Netflix, Warner Brothers buy your film. Bam, that's where it exists. For the cinemas to make money, it is your big blockbuster films, so Superman 2, but the price point of the ticket does not remain at £12, £10, Save a Monday, £8. It goes to £25. It goes to £30 to cover the losses, because otherwise the cinemas will just collapse. But the cinemas then have to innovate and go, you pay for that £30 ticket, here's a limited edition poster. Then you get a bunch of freebies that come with your ticket. And Spielberg said a couple of years ago that the way it's going to develop is going to the cinema will become akin to going to the theatre, like the actual theatre,
Yeah.
to see a dramatized play.
There's credence to that, and I think there's certain places, such as an Everyman, that kind of buys into that philosophy.
So,
Where you are paying a bit more for a ticket. You're not necessarily getting anything else for free, because then they're then charging
the
you for
world's comfiest
but you
seat.
get. Is that what they say? I wouldn't agree.
Oh my god! Yeah,
think
no,
trailers-
sorry, that's my review.
Oh, that's your review, is it?
That's my
Which
review.
Everyman have you been to? Have you been to one down your neck of the woods?
There's one in London Bridge.
Okay. I've been to
Fantastic.
one at Salisbury.
There's one in Salisbury, near the Waitrose.
I think sort of. It's round the. It's
Sorry, I've done this. It's a good excuse for me to cough as well.
I'm trying to think where it is, but the only film I saw Mufasa there, so I'm not sure that was the right film. Anyway, slight segue. I think. I mean, the interesting thing about independent films and true independent films, I think in terms of cinemas, they've gone.
Gone.
There's no such thing as a true indie film. I don't think really properly in cinemas anymore. You could maybe argue something like a Nora, maybe, but is that a true independent? Because that's a guy who's, well, maybe, yeah, you could say it is. A24 and Focus Features, maybe things like that, but they don't get very big cinema runs anyway.
No, that's true. And they found a home in streaming.
I think if Netflix gobbles up Warner Brothers or Paramount gobbles up Warner Brothers, that's less. That narrows the amount of people that indie filmmakers can go to try and get their stuff greenlit. You know, they've in terms of, you know, there's 5 streams, there's now 4 or whatever that they can go to, so that makes that more difficult. I think also Netflix's way of handling its properties, where sometimes it just like gets rid of them. You know, like that's a
you like that? Thing. Cool.
Or to the point where it saturates something beyond, you know, all recognition. I think streamers can sometimes be a bit guilty of doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. Squid
then again, Warner Brothers are already rebooting Harry Potter as a TV series and doing very little to change it. So
I don't mind that, because turning it into a TV show is enough of a jump. There's more content that goes in there.
You get more content.
But it's what we were saying about nostalgia as well, that actually that next generation, so our children, get to grow up with Harry Potter, and I think that's a good thing.
True. I think I lean more on the Paramount thing, like you said.
Definitely.
I think
they're closer.
Although that may have certain implications in terms of the American media landscape and the government in America's handling of the American media landscape, because certain promises for the Skydance Paramount merger had already been made to the administration, and further things. You know, if there's more and more networks that are playing to a certain tune, we're getting into points of sort of government-led censorship, and
for sure, yeah,
which isn't great. So maybe we don't want that. Something like Netflix can go to any sort of administration.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I kind of yo-yo either way, because even if Netflix had it, but then left it to its, you know, just went, you know, like
kept it as is,
and it would just come onto it. But then what would happen to like HBO Max? Would that all come into Netflix, or would they keep them separate?
Would it be a phase?
Pay like £20 a month, and then HBO Max and Netflix be combined, but
it could be the case of. Do you remember when Love Film turned into Amazon Prime Video? Actually, Amazon Prime Video existed, and it was a good 3 years where you could use both. And I was still getting mailed discs, and then eventually, so they didn't. It wasn't like a relay. It was, well, you've still got that. So actually, if I'm subscribed to HBO and I'm subscribed to Netflix, you can keep those two things, and then you do those introductory prices of, as a repeat customer, actually just morph the two things, and it's $5 extra a month, or, you know, something like that. So from a business point of view, I think they can coalesce people for sure.
It's similar, like Hulu is only just about to be phased out. Alien Earth is the last thing for Hulu.
Is it the last? Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and it's
go out with a bang.
But obviously that will continue its life. I would be very surprised if we don't get a second series of Alien Earth. So, have you watched it yet?
My God, so I'm an episode before you.
Okay.
Loving, absolutely loving. And it's very similar to what Warner Brothers is doing with their current run of success. I don't mind if we're getting a Romulus sequel, and because I know that Alien Earth isn't canon specifically.
I think it's kind of canon.
No, I think they've come out and said that it's treat it as its own thing. It's not going to have implications on
canon. Not implications, but I'm treating it as canon.
I love it. I think, and to be fair, if it gives erasure to certain Alien films that have come before, don't mind. Absolutely don't mind. But I would happily take a stream of new Alien films and a continuation of this series all at the same time. Bring it on, because I don't think you can have as long as it's quality, which is what's happening at the moment, you can't have too much of a good thing.
Exactly. I
No.
think it's just proof as well that, like, in terms of a cinematic creation, Xenomorph is almost unrivaled.
Beautiful.
As in, like,
you get pale imitations.
I saw an absolutely great Instagram post, and it was of so the actress who's on the sort of ill-fated ship in Alien Earth, who she dies sort of last, and it's her warming up, and then you've got the stunt performer in the Xenomorph suit, sort of just stretching or kneeling down next to her, and he's wearing like Adidas Sambas.
Amazing.
So the Xenomorph is wearing like trainers, and I thought that was really funny.
That's great.
But yes, we've touched upon it a lot here, the success of Warner Brothers, and also the sort of also another thing actually tangential, but obviously FX is behind Alien Earth, and the CEO of FX, I think CEO of FX chairman, has said that a major conglomerate merger is inevitable.
Is coming.
I think especially from the studio space to try and combat the worldwide streaming prowess of things like Netflix. So if Paramount succeeded in acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery, it means that they would have a streaming library, subscriber base, a platform that would rival the likes of Netflix and Amazon Prime. Obviously, if Netflix gets into that space, then we're in a place where maybe Netflix is winning the war against studios, and maybe that's what we get into a really scary position in terms of us cinephiles who enjoy the cinematic experience. If Netflix are winning the streaming wars hand over fist, or like it's not even a winning, they've won it.
The complete monopoly. Yeah.
Yes, but Warner Brothers. Why is Warner Brothers so attractive? It's because it has Harry Potter, it has Lord of the Rings, it has DC Comics, it has a legion of HBO series like The White Lotus or The Pit, Emmy winning.
Yes.
So shout out
Noah
Adolescence.
Weil.
So yeah, that's why Warner Brothers is so sort of such a juicy prospect, and also they have been going on quite the unprecedented run,
record-breaking run.
Yes, so 7 films in succession have opened to $40 million at the domestic United States box office, and I'm just going to quickly pull up the list of the films with my little mousey mouse. So Warner Bros. Had a pretty shaky start to the year because they had things like Joker Folie à Deux. Well, it was the end of last year, which was a massive flop. Then they had Mickey 17, a flop. But then things really took an upward turn because they had a Minecraft movie, which is proof that I think younger audiences actually quite enjoy cinemas and are sort of championing cinemas, and they're leading sort of cinema success and box office success because that had a 162 million debut and went on to gross over $1 billion. It's one of the highest grossing films of the year. That was followed by Sinners, which opened to 48 million, set all sorts of wonderful records for sort of original R-rated. I think Sinners is still the best film of the year so far. There may be films that come along that may rival it for that. I think Sinners is still in that Best Picture Oscar race. Anyway,
for me, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice if we had a more commercially successful film win big at the Oscars again, similar to Oppenheimer. I think it's better for the industry, and I think it's also better for the Oscars' relevancy because that whole it's kind of a siloed thing. But that's a discussion for February. Anyway, so after Sinners, they had Final Destination Bloodlines open to 51.6 million. One of your favourite films of the year so far, I believe.
Loved it. Nonsense, but loved it.
From our last time we chatted. I need to come back to this. I've got a segue, but anyway, we'll keep talking about this. F1, the movie, Apple TV, but distributed by Warner Brothers, opened to 57 million. Superman opened to 125 million. Zach Cregger's Weapons, that opened to 43.5 million. And then The Conjuring Last Rites. franchise best launch of 83 million domestically.
That's
And
fantastic.
yeah, so that's a pretty impressive streak. Nobody's ever done this.
But let's pull it back for a second. So, Minecraft, children's property, licensable IP from video games. That sits in its own box. You've got 3 horror films.
Yep.
2 of which are
Legacies.
4 horror films.
Have we got 4 weapons? Oh, well,
Conjuring.
Sinners.
Yeah.
And Final Destination.
2 of them are brand new, visionary creator-led properties. That's fantastic. And then you've got 2 nostalgia bait franchise endings, supposedly. Maybe not with Final Destinations, but that's obviously nostalgia bait from the mid noughties. Then you've got Formula One, which I guess is a licensable IP of sport.
Yep.
So there is a variety. I'm happy to know that horror's doing great. Horror's alive and well.
Horror's one of these franchises that, if I wasn't such a wuss, I think I need to be trained into enjoying them. So maybe that's some homework you need to set me. But I think great in the industry that they're such a, they don't cost a lot to make. They're a hive of creativity and they create loads of money. And obviously Superman, we've got Superman in that list as well as a franchise starter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's moving along at some steady pace now because we're already going to get another Superman movie in 2027.
Yeah, greenlit,
which is very quick.
Yeah.
Sinners as well. We need to talk about not only it being a horror movie, it being original, but also its cultural impact. This is I guess we're not the right people to comment, but it's a black-led project. It's speaking about the Black American experience. It's helped bring in those audiences as well to cinemas as well for a more diverse, a more sort of open and sort of culturally sensitive cinema experience, I suppose would be a good way of putting it. And it's also just a fucking good movie.
Really good.
Really good, unbelievable. And I think also something about Sinners as well, of the joy of the cinematic experience, the Ryan Coogler's
with an audience
formats and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Warner Bros. Have been on this amazing run. So no wonder a Netflix or a Paramount would want to slice the pie. But then there's the fear of Warner Bros. Have got a good thing cooking here. Don't mess.
Don't mess. Somebody cooks.
Just let them get on with it.
Swing it back to the pandemic and the botched release of Tenet and Christopher Nolan turning his back. I remember the discussions that we were having were Warner Brothers have fumbled the bag. Absolutely. What have they got upcoming? You've got the failing Snyderverse, which is just being memed online. All of these kind of tentpole properties or filmmakers in their books, they didn't become a joke, but it was almost like, oh my God, how are you going to dig yourself out of this hole?
Yeah.
Fast forward 4 years later, is it the most attractive production house going?
It must be. I think so. I mean, we look at these 7 films, and also it looks like the streak's going to end at 7 because their next major release is One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson's film, which is being touted as one of his best and also as an Oscars front runner. But that looks like it's going to open to 20-30 million. But it's not. That's more leaning to the awards spectrum, isn't it? It's
we get into that space.
That film's impact is going to be, what people think of it in a critical sense, what people think of it in terms of an awards sense, rather than maybe. I mean, it's cost a lot of money. I mean, they've shot it and they're presenting it on VistaVision, for Christ's sake, which hasn't been presenting it on VistaVision. It's been presented on 7 different formats, I think, but one of them is VistaVision, which hasn't been done since 1961, apparently.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's film as art. But it's interesting to think that actually the comparative lead, so you've got DiCaprio and the star power within. So it's interesting to say that actually certain unknowns, so a David Corenswet for Superman, how much do we think there is a star power sway? Because there was a time when it was like, I don't need to know what the film is.
They're in
It's
it.
got Brad Pitt in it, so I will just go and see it. Not me personally, but it's got DiCaprio in it, so I will go and see it.
I think that doesn't have as much of a sway in like major commercial releases. I don't think anymore.
Mm.
I think the essence of what it is kind of what drives that. But I think in this space, the combination of Paul Thomas Anderson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn,
Phenomenal.
being in it, I think it's gonna be like 2 hours and 50 minutes though. Long film.
There's Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, but apparently it's amazing. So yeah. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. Anyway, yeah. So I think Warner Brothers have got they seem to be they have the secret sauce at the moment.
They're cooking.
And no wonder everybody wants to purchase it. So I guess in light of talking about box office and studios trying to buy up studios, should we have a box office inspired round of games?
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Perfect. So we did this last time, didn't we? I did a higher or lower box office game. So we're going to do that again, but we're each going to have a go. But we have different criteria for each of our selections, don't we?
We do indeed.
So do you want to go first, asking questions, or should I? Or should we go like one?
Should we do it taking turns?
Yeah, no, let's do 3 each.
3 each. Bring it on. I will keep scores. Let's go.
Okay. And you need to tell the people watching at home or on the move or wherever they are. What is the criteria? What are we using as your data set for the questions?
So using the fantastic Box Office Mojo powered by IMDb Pro, I will be asking you higher or lower questions based on the top lifetime grosses by MPA rating R for worldwide numbers.
Can you R-rated movies, so 15 and above for the UK sense, and then their lifetime grosses worldwide?
Indeed. Can you, before we start, do you know the top grossing R-rated film worldwide?
Is it Deadpool and Wolverine?
Absolutely is.
Ah!
Bonus point.
Bonus point. Well, no, we got. I don't know. Well, okay, if we're doing that, then I have to give you the option to get bonus point when we get to mine. Should I say what my one is now then? So what I've gone for, also using Box Office Mojo powered by IMDb Pro. That's like a vocal warm-up. I'm doing top lifetime adjusted gross. So basically, this is the all-time worldwide box office, but adjusted for inflation. Because obviously, ticket prices 80 years ago were wildly different to ticket prices now. But obviously, ticket purchases and stuff like that would mean that if a Dr. Zhivago came out now, it would probably have earned a lot more money than it did when it first came out. And it's based on 2022 ticket prices because that was the most recent that was offered. So I thought that was fair. It defaulted to 2019, which is, I guess, before cinema died and COVID happened. For a bonus point, what do you think is the top one here?
Ooh, right.
It's quite tricky, I suppose.
It is an older film. I'm thinking 30s or 40s.
You're in the right ballpark, sir. Yes, you're right in the right ballpark.
I've got 2 guesses.
Have you? Okay.
I've got 2, so I'll have half a bonus point, which is either Gone with the Wind or The Wizard of Oz.
Am I gonna make you go for one, or am I gonna just give you a point if you've got one? If you've got it,
I'm gonna go Gone with the Wind.
Correct. Yeah. Apparently, estimated number of tickets sold, released in 1939, 202.
Is that it?
No. I've just got out to read. 202,286,200 tickets. Yeah, 9 digits. So yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. For a minute, I was reading that as 202,000, but that's wrong. So yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so it was a bonus point for you as well. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So we're now back to you. Are we doing higher or lower, aren't we?
We're going to do higher or lower. I'm going to read the first film, which is Troy from 2004. And that grossed worldwide 497.5 billion. No, million.
Brad Pitt.
With Brad Pitt. Now, did Troy gross higher or lower than Terminator 2 Judgment Day?
Which is one of the greatest sort of movies of all time.
Sci-fi action beauty.
But I kind of sometimes lean towards the first one as my favourite Terminator.
Huh. I think they're both excellent.
Yes. And end scene. Don't need any more Terminator movies. Anyway, although I feel like in the world of AI, that's a franchise that's waiting to be birthed again.
Bring that back. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go Troy, because Terminator 2 was 1992, wasn't it? But that was like a big film. I'm going to go Terminator 2 just edged it, so Troy's lower.
That is correct.
Oh, it is yours.
Absolutely correct. Congrats.
Unbelievable. Okay.
So it's grossed 517.7 million.
That's close, man. Right. Okay. So let's go with Jaws, which has recently been enjoying its 50th anniversary screenings in cinemas. I went on my own to watch it on a very big screen, and I had a lovely time.
You loved it. Yeah,
it was beautiful. So adjusted lifetime gross based on 2022 ticket prices, 1,200,856,389. So 1.2 billion. Let's go with that.
Okay.
So is Ben-Hur, so I make one really difficult, higher or lower?
Ben-Hur was huge. That was an Oscar sweep. Was that 1963?
You're a bit further at 1959.
Oh, damn. Was a mega movie. Adjusted for inflation, I am going to say that Ben-Hur grossed more than Jaws.
I am very sorry to tell you, sir, but you were incorrect. So it's 14th on the list. Jaws 7th. So Ben-Hur, 118 million. Jaws is right. I mean, Jaws is the original blockbuster, isn't it? It was one of those ones that opened up and screens countrywide in the US, and obviously did its bit worldwide as well. So we're talking about inflation, right? So this is the adjusted lifetime gross of Jaws is 1.2 billion, but its genuine lifetime gross based on ticket sales here, I've got is 280 million. So we might be. This is based on US, isn't it? It is, yes. Interesting. So this is just US numbers. This is just US numbers, right? Cool. So I've got a bonus point plus a 1 point. You've got a bonus point plus a nil point. So okay, here we go.
Okay, so Django.
Sum things up and make this the best out of 3 because we did the first question, didn't we, for the number ones?
That's true. I'm going to pick Django Unchained, which lifetime worldwide gross was 426,076,000. I can't read. Was Django Unchained higher or lower than 2008's Sex and the City film?
That was R-rated.
It was R-rated.
I suppose, presumably.
You haven't seen it. That is absolutely R-rated.
Xenomorph shows up as a whole. Just what do you do? Well, that warranted a second Sex and the City movie.
But Tarantino doesn't do sequels unless it was planned at the same time.
Okay, yeah. So Kill Bill. volumes 1 and 2,
Mhm.
being the prime example. Sex and the City movie, 2008. That's a long time ago. Django was later, wasn't it?
2012.
Django was quite popular. 2012, that was a long time ago. I'm going to go Sex and the City, gross more.
You are incorrect.
Oh, no. So this is...
Was quite tight. So Django was 426 million. Sex and the City was 418,769,000.
There we go. So you've got an opportunity to tie here, and then we'll go to a tiebreaker, I suppose.
Bang, bang, bang.
Okay, so. Okay. We have Avengers Endgame, adjusted lifetime gross, 892.6 million. And we should caveat this is adjusted lifetime gross domestic, US domestic.
So much. Yeah.
Right. Which film am I going to pick up? Was The Exorcist higher or lower with its adjusted lifetime gross?
I think I'm going to use a little bit of logic here. Yes, it is the scariest film of all time. It's the, you go and see that because Endgame is on a different level, is more accessible for more people. I think The Exorcist grossed less than Endgame. No way.
It's ninth on this list. The Exorcist, $1 billion. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And talk about cultural impact. That's impressive. So you lose the game. Sorry.
If you get this one wrong, we can draw.
What do you mean if I get this one, we can? So you've got one right, plus...
And I get my
next none right. You've got none right. You've just got a bonus point. I've got one right, and I've got a bonus point, so I've won 2-1. So if I get this one wrong, I've still won 2-1.
No, because then if I get my next one right, it's a draw.
So we're going again.
Yeah.
Fine. All right. Go.
All right.
It's rigged. Rigged.
I'm going to pick True Lies from 1994.
Great film.
378.8 million worldwide.
That's a James Cameron movie, isn't it?
Yes. Let me double check. Yes, it is. Yeah, with Arnie in the lead.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Good film.
Did it gross more or less than 1994's Speed with Keanu Reeves?
Oh, the best movie about a bus. Have you? Oh my god! Have you seen Speed 2: Cruise Control?
Tell me that's on a boat.
It's on a cruise ship.
Oh,
an inherently slow vessel.
Yeah.
In the middle of a large body of water. How is that interesting?
Don't go below 8 knots.
And I don't think Keanu's not in it. Sandra Bullock is. I think Willem Dafoe is the main.
Oh, Rogue. That's fun.
It is genuinely an awful movie. That's back when they used to do like terrible sequels, like 8 years later or whatever.
Oh god.
Speed. Surely we're getting a new Speed with Keanu at some point. Surely.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, 1997. Yeah, it was Willem Dafoe. Was he the main guy or was he the villain? He may have been the villain.
He does a good villain.
And maybe this Jason Patrick was perhaps the lead. I can't say. Tamura Morrison was in it, Boba Fett.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will be watching this later.
So, oh my God. I've just seen its Rotten Tomatoes score is 4%.
Oh, that's
bad.
bad. Good grief.
So bad it's got to be good.
You'd hope.
4%. 4%. Were you even trying? Were you trying to make a good film? But that means 4 out of 100 critics rated it as a beyond 5 out of 10 movie, because that's how Rotten Tomatoes works.
And that is the fallibility of film criticism, is that everybody's
4 out
allowed
of
an
100
opinion.
people went speed cruise control.
Very good.
Give that a 6 out of.
Well, it's 6 out of 10 minimum. It could have been a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 3 of those 4 could have been like best film I've ever seen in my life. 5 stars. Imagine, yeah, we'll come across someone and they're letterboxed 4 or something, you know. Someone else says Speed 2, Cruise Control.
Speed 2, Titanic 2. Yeah.
There is a Titanic 2.
There is. I have seen that one. That is.
And I think the tagline is "This time history repeats itself" or something, which I think's incredible.
Oh god.
Anyway, so it was Speed, or what was the other one? Completely lost track. Speed.
True Lies. Both 1994.
What? Oh.
Mm.
I'm going to go with True Lies.
Gross more than Speed.
Yes.
Correct.
So you've lost again. I feel really bad. Mine was actually really difficult.
So was mine. I was picking some of the roguest.
But yours were like all quite. Not only did you have to like judge a film against another film, but you had to judge a film against like inflation rates and blah blah blah.
No, that's Exorcist grossing more than Endgame has rewired my brain. That's absolutely
what a
wild
film.
to me. Yeah.
When we talk about horror, the horror endures. Do you want to? Should we go through the top 10 ascending of the suggested? So we've got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I'm assuming that's the original, not the one with Gal Gadot. Then it goes The Exorcist, then Dr. Zhivago, Jaws, The Ten Commandments, Titanic, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Sound of Music, which was one of 2 films that Eden, my wife, was allowed to watch when she was ill as a child growing up. So it was that and Mary Poppins. So not bad. Not bad film education. Second is Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And then the top was obviously Gone with the Wind. Frankly,
you know what I just did there? Sorry, you said Star Wars: A New Hope, and I scrunched my face up because what I heard was Phantom Menace. New Hope, amazing.
Oh, yeah, the OG. So Star Wars, really. We should just say it's Star Wars. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. 6 films you probably shouldn't watch afterwards. Although they are doing another trilogy, and Ryan Gosling's currently shooting a spin-off film.
What's that called?
Starfighter. I imagine he's a pilot.
With Matt Smith, right?
Yeah, he's in it, which is great. And also, apparently Simon Bird is in it, well from In-Betweeners, which is probably a lot of people to recall his, feisty one you are. Full circle.
Amazing.
I think we've gabbed on quite a bit, haven't we? Should we end with sort of saying what we're excited about seeing next?
Absolutely.
So, what are you excited about seeing next, Rhys?
I am so excited because, as you well know, horror boy in many ways. That there is a film coming out next month, so start of October, that is from the perspective of a dog. And I cannot wait because the early reviews, it was an independently produced film.
What's this film called?
It's called Good Boy.
That's a brilliant name.
That's a brilliant name. Shudder, that I love, have bought it. There will be a cinematic release. Fantastic. But it's also going on their streaming platform as well, which if you don't have and you're a horror nerd, do it. The catalogue is wonderful. There is some hot garbage on there, but there is some absolute gold on there as well. But Good Boy, purely from the perspective of a dog that doesn't necessarily understand quite what's going on, so you get to experience the fear with him. It reminds
our central protagonist.
Absolutely.
Being haunted.
It's making me nervous, for sure, from a narrative point of view, because it's a horror film. But it's giving me very strong. There was a film a couple of years ago that was very much a Marmite lover or hater called Skinamarink, which was there was two kids younger than kind of 6 or 7, and it's all these abject angles, and it's very non-linear, and they don't know where their parents are, but it's more static shots of nothing with audio. And as an experience, it's absolutely terrifying if you can hit it. And I'm getting a similar vibe with Good Boy, although it does seem more narrative linear. So I'm absolutely looking forward to that, because dogs and scary.
Dogs and scary.
Love
I'm
it.
gonna go quite rogue with my one. Well, not rogue. So basically, I'm gonna go with like a UK film starring Brett Goldstein and Imogen Poots, and it's called All of You, and it's going to be out on Apple. I mean, we've both mentioned One Battle After Another. Let's
Fine,
we know
and
that. But All of You, starring Brett Goldstein and Imogen Poots, it's out on Apple on September 26th, and it's giving British When Harry Met Sally. So they're like lifelong friends.
Hey, that's cool.
There is sort of like, unrequited love sort of thing going on, perhaps. And I think I've just seen Zora Ashton's in it as well, and she's amazing.
Cool.
Brett Goldstein, I think, obviously he's shot to fame as Roy Kent and Ted Lasso, doing one particular thing. But I think if you watch him in Shrinking, and the character he's playing in Shrinking season 2, and how amazing he is in that, I think to see him in a dramatic film like this, I'm just very excited. I'm a big fan of his. He's got a very good podcast, Films Buried With, which obviously is like, we could dream of being as good as that.
The Goldstein standard.
The Goldstein standard. There we go. Nicely done. So I'm going to put that down as my one to look forward to.
Amazing. I'll keep my eyes open for that.
Nice. And also, new series of Slow Horses.
Oh,
I'm going to talk to the screen. I've only just started watching season 4, so I binged watched seasons 1 through 3, but I didn't want to burn out before season 5 came out. Season 5's on its way, so I'm watching season 4 of Slow Horses. Probably one of the best things on TV, I think.
I've yet to see an episode, but I've heard only amazing things.
It's unbelievable. Do you have Apple TV?
We don't at the moment, but I can get it if it's good.
Yes, and you will do that legitimately, because this is going out on.
This is the pressure to do it now. Yeah. Next time I'm here, I will give you my review of season 1.
Perfect. Well, there we go.
There we go.
What a titillating prospect. Oh, so I said I wanted to segue to something. When we were last on, we were talking about Alien Earth, and you mentioned Alien Romulus. I hadn't seen it. You told me to watch it.
Bang.
We finished recording. I went and watched it that very night.
You texted me.
Up to like 1 a.m. watching it. And I thought, on long reflection, it was okay. Why am I ending on this? I felt like it was the best modern Alien movie. So
Sure.
It surpasses Prometheus. It surpasses Alien Covenant by quite a long way. It wasn't as good as the 2 first films. It felt like it was trying to do what Aliens did to a certain extent, I felt, especially towards the end. But no, I did enjoy it. I think it was a good, solid movie. It had all the necessary ingredients. I didn't feel like I was particularly in love with all of the characters. We didn't have anyone quite on Ripley's level, but to match that is almost impossible. Although you watch Alien Earth, I'm wedded to like every single character.
By all of them, yeah.
And also in Alien Earth, that concept of putting the children inside indestructible adult bodies is just amazing. And also all of those performances from those actors are incredible, because you believe they're all children.
That's very uncomfortable. But I think when the series or the franchise leans into the slightly uncanny, the slightly just off kilter, this the world you recognize with a little twist, that's when it's great, because even if it's an exposition scene, even if it's something simple, there's still that undercurrent of discomfort, which I think Romulus does very well.
There's that horrible bloody hybrid thing at the end. Oh my, sorry, that was so unbelievably disgusting.
Very well.
At that point, I was like, oh my god, kill it! It's horrible. It was just, oh my god, literally vile. And I thought, oh, no,
but the I forget the synth's name from the first film, bringing him back with that kind of nostalgia element. He looked like a Thunderbird.
I also it's David Johnson's android character. I thought was quite clever. His personality shifting and stuff being reprogrammed. But the bit when he did the "get away from her, you bitch" line, I was like,
felt too much callbacky, right?
I was like, no, and also because his character, it just
it's
sounded
very straight line. Yeah.
I was like, no, and I thought, does that tarnish the original utterance of that from Sigourney? I will say that Aliens, because I only watched that recently. Actually, no, I watched that almost a year and 3 days ago, and I know why I watched it a year and 3 days ago from recording, because I watched it the night before my sister's wedding.
Amazing, which was
like Romulus. I was going to watch the first hour and go to bed at like 12. I ended up watching the whole thing, and I was incredibly tired throughout the entirety of my sister's wedding. Hopefully she doesn't watch this, because she doesn't know that that's why I was quite tired, because I was watching Aliens the night before, the biggest day of our life.
What are you going to do?
But Aliens is one of
amazing,
a perfect movie, I think, in terms of it's not like it's not like The Third Man, or it's not like Shawshank. It's not one of those, or I'm trying to think of more sort of intimate Oscar-y movies.
Sure.
But in terms of a blockbuster, crowd-pleasing movie, it's perfect, and it's firing on all cylinders. And you love the characters so much, you are so like wedded to them making it through. So that bit where she's like, "Get away from her, you bitch!" I'm like,
it's amazing. It's like, yeah.
So there we go. We've managed to segue it into a high point, me bringing back Alien Romulus. And now we've already talked for over an hour, so crikey, we've done it again. We need to cut now. We're doing another two-parter. So thank you, Rhys, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, boy, you're welcome. It's a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for joining in and watching and listening and all that jazz. Keep, like and subscribe to A Friendly Film Take. You'll find us on YouTube on the Film News Blitz channel. So, Film News Blitz is all over the place on socials, at Film News Blitz on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. And there's www.thefilmnewsblitz.com, where we have our news reports, our analysis, our reviews. And it's a wonderful home that we've created to help aspiring students and sort of the film journalist space to do their placements and stuff and write about things that they love, which is film. So there we go. Adios.
Adios.
End scene. Beautiful.
Beautifully done.